should know, Glitch gets 80% of their funds from their merchandise. Which is why, after every single pilot, making merchandise such as plushies and pins was an important part of what Glitch does after every one of their pilots. And those fans who have even sticked around for one pilot would understand that. Me personally, I've been with Glitch for longer than Glitch has existed, as I was there back then with SMG4, which that isn't that big of a deal because SMG4 couldn't do merch, probably due to Nintendo, but I have been with Glitch and I see this every single time and I'm fine with it because I'm aware that this helps fund new shows and helps Glitch help others in the indie community that they care about. However, fans don't seem to like this idea after the new Gameoverse merch drop came out. Oh boy, we got a lot to get into. Like and subscribe if you want more indie animation and Gameoverse news. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. This all started with the Gameoverse merch drop that dropped 10 days after the Gameoverse pilot that came out. I made a video on it. If you want to check it out, it will be in the link in the description. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The merch drop came 10 days after the pilot. Here, there's an image you can look at that's about to pop up in 3, 2, 1. Now, that was just the plushies of Kit and Caboodle. There's way more than that if you look at the Glitch production store. Now that we have laid the foundation for our video, it's time to get to the main topic. The drama. Oh, my favorite. So, if you're a fan of Glitch, you would know that they make merchandise after the pilots, right? I mean, if you're really smart on this topic and you're aware of that, you would know that, right? And that'd be a normal fan because they said that 80% of the funds go towards that, okay? They don't go towards Burger King, okay? So tell me why, okay, guys, tell me why Glitch isn't indie because they made plushies. They're not indie? So, to put it simply, a lot of people think Glitch isn't indie because of merch. Just like I did in my Gooseworks controversy video yesterday, I'm going to do the same thing here, where I'm going to read a few tweets that sparked this up. Shout out to ALMAO. He is the reason I found these threads. Then I went deeper down the rabbit hole and noticed them. So, shout out to him. Anyway, let's look at these dumb threads. Indie Animation Studio tells you to prepare your wallets for a wide selection of merchandise barely 10 days after the launch of animation. You know, just indie animation things. Of all the ways to sell merch, you're actually using the line prepare your wallets. Actually, fuck you. You've ruined indie animation. Do you guys see what I'm talking about when I say Glitch is gonna be a problem? Me personally, I have a lot of thoughts about this. I think that for some things they have a point, but I really think Glitch was obviously just being funny when she said the thing about wallets. It's just an overall really weird situation, and it's not that deep. I feel like they're just mad that Glitch is bigger, and on one part I do understand. Indie was a thing that made some people feel very good because they felt special, because they liked this thing that not many other people liked. It's a type of validation that you like this thing that not many other people like. It's like, I'm so niche, I'm so cool. It feels good. It feels amazing. gets taken away when everyone likes that. So that good feeling of validation that you once were able to feel is now gone. And that's why people hate it. That's the sad truth. That's why people hate it. It all started with the amazing digital circus, obviously. So, to answer the question, do I think the glitch is indie? Yes. But do I also think the glitch makes a lot of money and is a lot more bigger than it used to be? Yes. You could say the same thing about someone like Pop that made, a bunch of small indie animations and then ended up, teaming up with stuff like Prime. But that is a little different since I guess they kind of really did leave indie because, Has-Been Hotel is like one of the most #1 shows in the world and they get provided money by one of the biggest companies in the world. But that's not the point. The point is just because you got a bigger budget to make bigger and greater things doesn't mean that they've lost the throne of indie. They are still indie, and it's very disrespectful to say that they are not. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you like indie news. And thank you for your time.